All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Detroit Lions in today's video. 52-21 win at home in Ben Johnson's return to Detroit. Chicago, they obliterated them, man. 52 points. And we're going to break down a bunch of film in this video because I really liked the brand of football Detroit played offensively and defensively. Run game's back, offensive line's back, Jared Goff is back. The defense, Brian Branch, Aiden Hutchinson, Kirby Joseph interception, everything was clicking. And this was a huge dominant performance, just like we had predicted. And it sets up a really intriguing game on Monday Night Football 1 week from the time of this recording in Baltimore, which is absurd because didn't they play in Baltimore 2 years ago? But anyways, let's break down some Lions film. All right, guys, we're going to start it off with the first play of the game because as we pinpointed all week, this really was what I was looking for with this Detroit Lions team. What I was looking for here is some aggressiveness, and this is the first play of the game. I really like this play design because you're going to see the pre-snap, it's man-to-man coverage. All right, so he trails him all the way around. We know Jared Goff knows that this is man coverage, all right? And what you're going to see here is Jameson Williams is going to blow the top off, all right? And what really should probably happen here is you should probably have, who's this? Is this Tyreek Stevenson? No, is this Kevin Byard? Looks like Kevin Byard. He should probably settle down here because you've got him in man. You've got Jaquan Brisker back here. And you've got Amon-Ra St. Brown just floating through the middle of the field. And Jared Goff connects with him, and he ends up getting a huge gain here. And I'll show it to you from this other angle. But this is exactly how you start a football game. We got Khalif Raymond moving in motion, so we know it's man coverage. Little play action. Great protection, by the way, this entire football game. People were really freaking out in week one. What happens when you have a whole new offensive line you've got a new center, you've got a rookie right guard, you've got a young left guard. It takes a while for things to click, and we didn't see the Detroit Lions first team offense in preseason, so already out of the get-go it's going to take a little bit of time, but it's also stuff you can't practice in practice. Like, you can't really practice this kind of stuff. You just need the course of a live-action NFL regular season game to get acclimated, and that's why it takes you 4, 5, maybe even 6 games for an offensive line and just everywhere on the whole NFL roster for players to just really settle in here. And you couldn't have started this game off better. A really great sign for this Lions offense was just the scripted first drive ends up working, and they're able to score the touchdown here, and Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be the one who carries this in. The reason I'm highlighting right here is because Amon-Ra St. Brown's going up against Tyreek Stevenson. A little bit of a zone run here. So Sam Laporte is going to move in motion. Tyreek Stevenson does not set this edge. All right, he goes inward. I'm on Amon-Ra St. Brown. I guess that's kind of difficult to say. And so what ends up happening here is now Sam Laporte and Amon-Ra St. Brown are able to set the edge here. And all Jahmyr Gibbs, all he has to do with his speed is just get onto the outside. And I just think it's a really good sign of things to come when that first drive results in a touchdown. It sounds a little redundant, obviously, but you got Laporta moving. Tyreek Stevenson does not set the edge, so Amon-Ra St. Brown does it for him. And now you got Sam Laporta. Everybody's able to kind of move to this second layer, and Jahmyr Gibbs just runs the ball in easily. So plays like this really are underrated when you look at a game that ends 52-21. Now, we talked about this on the main channel. We talked about this in our recap last night. But here's the thing. Detroit did have a couple of stalled out drives, and towards the end of the second quarter, it's crazy to say because at the end of the game, or at the end of the first half, it's 28-14, and we'll break that down for you in a clip or two. But stuff like this, Brian Branch's fumble here, this is first off why Brian Branch is so damn good at what he does. But this is why Aiden Hutchinson, Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch, that's how much of an impact to these players make because, if this game had come down to a possession, if this was a possession football game, this is a really big stop here because they're already on Detroit's 33-yard line. And even if the Detroit Lions are able to stop them and hold Chicago to a field goal, which is Also a big deal in the grand scheme of things. If this is like against the Baltimore Ravens, this is stuff that you just really look back at and you're like, oh man, if Derrick Henry didn't fumble that football, if Brian Branch didn't force that fumble, maybe we'd have a different outcome to this football game. So it's a huge reason why I'm so excited to have Aiden Hutchinson back, because he was disrupting like crazy. He had a nice sack that we'll get into. But this defense is hungry. Brian Branch is a very hard hitter, and he goes right for the football here, pops it out of his hands, DeAndre Swift's hands, and Jack Campbell's able to come away with a fumble recovery. So just turnovers are so vital. I know it sounds redundant, it's obvious, it's clear as day, but Detroit's defense does such a good job at just making the opposing offense make mistakes and then capitalizing off those mistakes. So I wanted to pinpoint this because it just kind of gives you an illustration of what I was talking about in that last clip, where Detroit just caused that fumble from Brian Branch and they don't score. They go 3 and out. They don't even get a first down. So they punt it, and then you've got on 3rd and 1, same thing here, Caleb Williams, quarterback sneak, and he gets held. So it results in this 4th and 1. And what ends up happening here is this whole defensive line, Tyleik Williams, DJ Reader, Aiden Hutchinson, Pat O'Connor, Derek Barnes comes in here on the edge to wrap up this, or pretty much get this as a tackle. He counts as the tackle, stop Caleb from moving. So it's a turnover on downs. And all I mean is, after this, Detroit once again goes 3 and out, and Jake Bates ends up missing a field goal. And so even though Detroit's dominating this football game, it's still 14-7. And so you need to capitalize on that Brian Branch turnover. You need to capitalize on this 4th and 1 missed opportunity, because now the ball's on Chicago's 37-yarder. You're only 17 yards away from the red zone. You should at least be able to come away with a field goal. Detroit, Jake Bates ends up missing it. The offense doesn't really give him any leeway as far as picking up yards. And it's just this small stuff that I do really want to be cleaned up offensively for going to Baltimore on Monday. All right, here we go. We're a couple of plays after the Jake Bates, 56-yard missed field goal. You're going to see Aiden Hutchinson down here. Beautiful spin move. Somehow Caleb Williams is able to just maneuver out of this pocket, and he throws a Hail Mary on 2nd and 32 in the leaping hands of Kirby Joseph. So there's the spin move on Aiden Hutchinson. Some way, somehow the camera's zooming out because we got a bunch of guys down here, but somehow Caleb maneuvers out of this pocket. You see him here. He whips this ball up, and it lands right into Kirby Joseph. Kirby Joseph is leaping arms. There we go. And it's just, once again, Aiden Hutchinson putting pressure on the quarterback. It's something that won't show up on a stat sheet. It'll show up as far as quarterback pressures do, but all people really look at, with defensive players is how many sacks do they have. So welcome back, Aiden Hutchinson, for essentially causing this very stupid turnover from Caleb Williams. So Detroit gets back to their bread and butter. On that drive, they run the ball down the field, and we have this amazing Brock Wright touchdown. Dave Montgomery on play action gets a huge block as well. But I really like the offensive call here from John Morton. Play action. These guys are not watching Brock Wright. Great block here from David Montgomery, and Brock Wright's able to score for the touchdown. So they capitalize off the Caleb Williams errant mistake, throwing an interception to Kirby Joseph. The Lions run all the way down the field, and now it's 21-7. All right, now after that, you actually see the Chicago Bears come down, score a touchdown. So it's 21-14, and obviously they're right here on the 33-yard line. So they're in field goal range here. And I love this play call, and I love this decision. You've got Isaac Teslaw in one-on-one coverage, and Jared Goff just throws this football up to him. Now, I like it because he's cool, calm. He trusts his rookie wide receiver. He's got a hand in his face. He ends up going down to the ground, and some way, somehow, Isaac Teslaw is able to come down with this ball. And it is huge because the Detroit Lions, one play after this, are able to put up a touchdown with Amon-Ra St. Brown, and this is really just the big turning point in this football game because it's 21-14. Even 24-14, if Jake Bates hits a field goal here, it's, unfortunate now it's a 2-possession game, but Chicago's got the ball at half, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Chicago would get the ball at halftime, but this just sucks all the life out of the Bears defense here, because they just had 2 minutes, drove the ball all the way down the field, and now it's a 28-14 game at halftime. So shout out Jared Goff and Isaac Teslaw for bringing this unbelievable football down. So now we move to halftime, and this is 3rd and 9, and we're going to have 6 total Lions defenders, and I'm drawing numbers poorly here. You're going to see 6 total Lions defenders rush Caleb Williams here. Now, Caleb, in my opinion, makes a dumb idea here where he sees this corner, this nickel blitz, trying to figure out who that is. Can't tell if that's, I just don't have a good read on the number here. The running back ultimately ends up picking him up, and this is 3rd and 9, and Caleb Williams does not need to throw this football this quickly. And maybe the wide receiver, the timing's a little bit off. You know, the first down mark is all the way right here. And I know this doesn't result in technically anything like a quarterback hit or an interception, but this defensive stop here was big for the Detroit Lions because it's 28-14. This is the first play of the second half. Chicago can, storm down the field, put up a touchdown, put up some points, try and get this game a little bit more manageable. The defense, doesn't give up any points, et cetera, et cetera. It's all what ifs. But I really love this aggressive nature from Kelvin Shepard with this play call, putting 6 guys on Caleb Williams in this offensive line here, that DeAndre Swift's able to pick that corner blitz up, or the nickel blitz, and I just like it. You want to be aggressive. We talked about this last night. You want to be aggressive. You don't want to be read and react like they were week 1 against the Packers. One thing you love to see was, first off, the 511 total yards. 330 of 34 of those were from Jared Goff, and then they had about 177 yards of rushing. And this play here is right after that last one we showed you, and it's interesting because the Lions actually are not able to score a touchdown on this. But I really like, first off, it's play action, and Jared Goff's got great patience here. You got Sam Laporta on the edge here, picking up the edge rusher. And what happens because of this crosser route is you've got a linebacker on you. So Jameson Williams is crossing across the field, and he's got all of this completely open space. So it's about to be like one-on-one coverage against a linebacker. And he sits in this pocket. Goff is sitting in this pocket. There's pressure coming. Now he whips it around. Just got to throw the ball in the right spot. And Jameson Williams is able to drive this ball all the way to the 12, 13-yard line here. And what was, unfortunate is this was the only time Detroit entered the red zone and did not come away with a touchdown. But a Jake Bates field goal makes it 31-14 Detroit. One of really the only downsides of this football game was Marcus Davenport's injury. He exited the game not once but twice. Finished the game, didn't look 100%, and the bad news is I just saw the injury update. Is Marcus Davenport, he had like a shoulder injury, and I don't know if it was ankle or it was another injury. He had 2, and he's seeking a second opinion, which is never something you want to hear. And as great as it is to have Aiden Hutchinson over here and just on the football field in general, people were making fun of like the Zadarius Smith, we good comments here. Marcus Davenport, when he's healthy, the guy is just really good. And that's the issue, is you rarely see him play 3, 4, 5 games in consecutive seasons, and that's the risk you have. And it's unfortunate because he gets Darnell Wright here, a good young right tackle for the Chicago Bears, gets him to overcommit on the outside, and then just cuts inward and is able to bring down Caleb Williams. Now, the Detroit Lions had 4 total sacks in this football game. I think we're going to do a defensive-specific film study from this football game as the week progresses, because we've got a whole week until the Detroit Lions play football. But it was really unfortunate because, I know he was able to finish this game, but you never want to seek one opinion. You never want an injury, and seeking a second opinion just does not sound all that great to me. But I did really like this sack from Marcus Davenport, but unfortunately he was also banged up on this play too. All right, guys, we're taking a look here. This was the big 44-yard touchdown to Jameson Williams. Very glad he is back. What you're going to end up seeing here is he's just going, and he's going to pick apart Nashawn right here. Looks like the Bears, I believe they're in cover 6 here, and this is all on the cornerback. And I also like it because, first off, even if this option's not here, You've got Amon-Ra St. Brown crossing right here. So this play, because it's 3rd and 8, it's 31-14, halfway through the third quarter here, and Jared Goff does a great job of putting this ball up in the air. Jameson Williams, Jesus, comes down and tracks it. But this is Nashawn Wright just blown coverage, and it's hard to, follow a guy of Jameson Williams' speed caliber. Nobody can really do it. And the safety, it's not on them. It's on this defensive back. Jared Goff sees this, and that's easy money for this high-powered, still Detroit Lions offense. All right, guys, that's going to conclude our Detroit Lions film study. Felt like that was kind of dragging on there. If you guys want any specific player group, offense, defense, cornerback room, defensive line, offensive line, if you want any more film studies in the next week, let me know down below. We're trying this new style of content out. Let me know if you enjoy it. But that's it for today. 52-21. Beautiful win for the Detroit Lions. Huge bounce back game. And now a really big game on the road, week 3 against the Baltimore Ravens. So that's it for me. Have a great rest of your night or day. Let me know those comments down below, and we'll see you soon. Peace.